Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, so that's our little meeting with me and my guest. And today I've got the pleasure, and I'm happy to have on board and to have with us on Isabelle's talk show Joe Gooding, who you've seen before. And Joe, welcome. Welcome again, and you're always welcome to come back. So I'm so glad to have you today. And before we talk about harmony, I would like to introduce Joe. So Joe Gooding lives in the UK, just outside of London. She loves dancing, yoga, reading, and going out for dinner. Jo has been a holistic therapist over 17 years and incorporates holistic lifestyle products such as aloe vera and essential oil in her practice. Jo is a spiritual life coach and holistic therapist, the founder of Peace, Love, and Harmony Wellbeing. Jo is passionate about empowering individuals to take charge of their well-being. She works with you and with your energy and intuition to support you to shift from where you are to where you want to be. Jo describes herself as an internal student with a well-stocked toolbox. Her business and personal life are both underpinned by the mantra, cultivate peace, be in love, and live in harmony. So welcome, Jo, and talk to us about harmony.
Thank you, Isabel. Thank you so much for welcoming back again. This is our third conversation, and it's really, really lovely to be back with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm excited to share a bit about, this topic of harmony. And you just mentioned there in that beautiful introduction, thank you for that it is part of this mantra that I've lived by. And I was trying to recall, it's been there for such a long time. I was trying to date back, when did I first come up with this mantra? And quite interestingly, it wasn't necessarily in the order that it is now, but it is the third part of this mantra, and it's a personal and a professional thing. So I'm excited to share that a little bit more about that in this conversation.
Please do.
So when I was looking up descriptions or definitions for harmony, I thought, let me have a look at what's out there, because obviously I can tell you a bit about what it means to me and how I feel about it. But when I looked it up, I found some very interesting things. Mainly, there was a lot of information relating to music. So I'll go on to that. Yeah. So quite interestingly, that was like the top search. But some of the other words I found were agreement, congruity, and accord. And they sort of made me think of like this clasped hands, something like coming together, holding hands, like an agreement, or, like a shaking of hands or something. Congruity, when things are congruent and they come together. And then that accord, or like a resonance, I suppose, of this, what harmony might mean. But as I said, I don't know if any of those jump out to you, or you could,
Well, actually, yes, harmony, when you agree, you create peace, harmony, just like, I can relate to that, but I never thought about it that way.
So that was quite interesting. And then also, as I said, there was many references related to music. So if you don't mind, I'll just share a couple of those, because again, they are really effective, I think, in maybe seeing things from a different perspective and then linking that into how that might impact and be relevant in our lives. So one of the quotes said, harmony is the process by which individual sounds are joined together or composed into whole units known as compositions. I thought that was quite an interesting thing, imagining all these little notes coming together to create a composition in harmony, right? It refers to simultaneously occurring frequencies and pitches that are combined and that are pleasing to the ear. Interesting. And yet another one corroborated that and said it's a pleasant musical sound made by different musical notes being played or sung at the same time. And that made me think, okay. So musical notes being played or sung. And I thought straight away, I'm going to ask you, like, what's your favorite type of music, or what's your least favorite type of music? Because it got me thinking of both of those. Is it always pleasant when these sounds come together, or is it something that is completely not your cup of tea? So I don't know if you have a favorite or if you're quite open.
You know, when you talk about harmony, the first thing which comes to mind is classical music.
Right.
More than I love salsa, for example, but that for me it's not the same way. Or it would be like harmony, relaxing music I would listen to when I'm working, or to be creative, or to relax, or to meditate. Yeah, that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, like I hear what you're saying, like those chords or that resonance of, like, I don't know, chimes or bells or something like that. Or even water can be quite harmonious to listen to.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting what it was saying here about these notes and different sounds coming together. And it went on to talk about, and this is, bear with me, or stay with me here. But it went on to talk about the arrangement of things and things being pleasing or not pleasing. So as I was saying before, it was talking about vertical and horizontal things. So this crossing over, and again, this combining, right? And it said there's two main types of harmony when it comes to sort of music and this. There's dissonant and consonant harmony. And dissonant harmony can be jarring, can be those sounds that you don't particularly relate to harmony, right? And then the consonant harmony sounds are smooth blends that naturally appeal to our ears or naturally appeal to our senses. And it was saying that composers combine these, right, to make music interesting and intriguing. So you talked about classical music, and you can imagine, as you said, like calm tones, like, like I don't know, a symphony or something like that is giving you that wonderful echo. And then you've got like building, or the music may build and like become very loud, or crescendo. I think that's another word if you think about all these wonderful words that we use. So yeah, I just thought how interesting the context of harmony discussed as, and in relation to music, that there's all that difference that comes together to create something beautiful or pleasing. Yeah. And I thought, okay, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah. True. And peace,
Yeah, it can be super peaceful. But what is it about these mixture, this mixture of things that are seemingly opposite, right, that comes together to create this real spectacular thing, right? And it got me thinking about my definition, like, and why I have even included it in my mantra, right? So for me, some of the words that come to mind when I think about harmony, definitely peace, as you said, tranquility, and also there's culmination. I think of a culmination, and that sort of makes me think of like a pot of like putting all things in. It could be like even cooking, a culmination of all these things you put in. Yeah, a combination and a synergy. Again, that sense of synergy. So it kind of got me thinking, okay, well, that makes sense. I've got peace, I've got love, and then I've got harmony. And it didn't always, it wasn't always in that order. Very much so, a few years ago, many years ago, at the beginning, love was the most important thing to me, and that preceded everything. So it was love, peace, and harmony. And that's how I used to, say it. And then that evolved and transformed into love coming into the center, I suppose, of this trilogy, because love is at the center for me now. Exactly. And so I think, it's quite interesting to see how things can evolve and how your understanding can change. So the words have stayed the same, but the order changes. And even the prefixes change as well. So it's about, like, is it creating peace, cultivating peace, all of the, what it, become in peace, all of that sort of, words are really important to me, I think. And their strength in affirmations and in repetition and in a mantra is really valuable. So hence, when it comes to harmony, that is the bringing together, I suppose, of everything, of this peace, like creating and cultivating peace in your life, opening and being in love. We talked last time about self-love and how so important that is, and the harmony maybe is the mixing and the combination and the synergy of all of these life lessons, tools that we pick up, and really what it means to live in harmony, I suppose, is to be in balance. I suppose that comes
up. I would even say to be in peace and in love.
Okay, exactly, right. So
peace plus love equal harmony. So
That's the intention, right?
exactly.
So then it gets me thinking, oh, that sounds very beautiful and fairy tale and la-di-da. We kind of know that life isn't always like that, right? There are hiccups, there are bumps, and there are times when you feel anything but harmonious, right? You can't find peace, or you're not able to create that peaceful environment for yourself. You feel completely like you've fallen out of love with life, yourself, everything, right? And that's complete disharmony, right? But so that got me thinking again, it's peeling back another layer. So is harmony this beautiful, serene, untouched, perfect thing that, as you said, that comes, it's just very black and white, very 50-50. And I sort of thought on that and had a little meditate on that for a while. And I thought, no, actually, it is, as you said, the coming together of the peace and the love. And it's a combination of acceptance and surrender.
Yes.
Massive one, right? Surrendering. And so what that means then in terms of seeing balance on this scale of this 50-50, it could be 60-40 or 70-30 or whatever. I think there's I want to sort of rip open or crack open that theory that things have to be completely perfect, and we have this very polarized view of how things are right or wrong, and it's really very cut and dry, and I don't think that is the case. So looking at that soup and thinking about all these experiences that I've had and why even this is the mantra that has been there, and I looked at old journals from like 10 years ago, even longer, 12 years ago, started to see that it's coming up a lot in my writing and things like that. And why was it always there, and why is it so prevalent today? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think a willingness, if you're open to explore that, and to sort of break down that viewpoint that things have to be a certain way, what would that mean? Would that create more harmony because of this disharmony, and because of those, as it talked about earlier in those musical notes, because of that combination of the jarring and the the dissonant and the consonant, and putting them together, maybe that coming together, that fitting together of all of the experiences is what creates a bit of equilibrium. That's another word, I suppose, that comes up as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. So, but how do you get harmony? Because sometimes you were talking about surrender, which is like a very specific word. And surrender, do you mean a little bit of letting go, or what do you mean by surrender? So our audience can actually tell. Yeah. Would it be like letting go of things we can't control, right?
Absolutely.
Letting go of bad habits, to find harmony. What else would you say surrender?
I think all of the things that you just said there, surrendering to, as you said, the letting go. Letting go is a really interesting thing, and I like to sort of do that. I feel really nice to shake off and let go of shame, of guilt, of perfectionism, of the things we did wrong, the choices, all of that stuff. I mean, we talked about choice as well. I think if you didn't have the weight of that on you and you could let that go and shake that off, that would create a bit more harmony, because it would create space. You'd be emptying some space and allowing something else to come in. Maybe then love pours in, compassion, a bit of joy,
Yes.
Yeah. But then equally, okay, go ahead.
Well, no, carry on, Joe, because you mentioned acceptance as well. So
so the surrender and the acceptance, there's another part of surrender that isn't just letting go, and isn't a sense of like giving up or setting down the bags, but surrendering to all that is, like the creativity and the energy that is there, that you can access as well, because part of it is the letting go, but then what do you want to invite in? Can you surrender to the fact that the universe is plentiful and there's enough for everyone? Can we surrender to those ideas? Can we release our minds from constriction and what do you call it? Like the word escaped my mind, but when you're basic conditioning, constriction and conditioning, and surrender to that, surrender to even that there's more, not that there's less, or that we don't have enough, you know, all those sorts of things. I think that kind of happens a lot, and we think of surrender as being a backing down or a weakness. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that.
So instead, in a way, we surrender. So in the way that we let go and we embrace what's coming in, right? The new,
Yeah.
the new in a way, because when we leave something, we, as you said, have space for something else. So
yeah, and that's an incredible tool, you know, and it's one thing that you guide women through with your coaching, I know, as well, and something that's so powerful for your self-development as well is to see things, to allow them to come up and to release and surrender them, if that's the right, you know, in the right context, and if that's the right thing to do, because as you say, it makes space and it makes way for new and for other things, other opportunities to come in. And this is the thing, that the pathway, I suppose, how I look at it, the live in harmony, and why that's the end part. It's not the finality. I think that's almost the beginning then of the journey, because you're, you know, creating your peace, and you said letting go and resolving things and creating an environment that is nurturing and sustainable for you, right? And then you open to love, and you love on yourself so hard, and you do all the things that make you feel wonderful, and, you know, take on new experiences, meet people, anything that is loving to yourself, because it's different for different people. And then you get to live in harmony, right? But what does that mean? You know, why? What does that mean? Okay. Surrendering, accepting, knowing yourself. Maybe along that way, you know yourself a little more. Maybe some of the things that you've experienced have given you excellent foundations and things that you can build upon. Right, things you know for next time, things that you could even share with others, because that's a really wonderful thing about coming together in community, as we do, is sharing your experiences, those highs and lows, and this worked well and this didn't, you know, try this. And that's the thing, that diversity then can be really embraced, because we can learn so much from others as well.
That's true, and because we've got our own path, and sometimes we don't, I would say, grow at the same speed. So we can always help somebody, you know, or sharing our experience, which can inspire somebody else. And
definitely. And therefore be inspired as well, because as you said, that's like part of our everyday. And I think when you're open to that, which is what you were saying earlier, when you know, see what's there, you can then access and be a bit more curious, and what does that, you know, and how could that impact me? So why harmony is what I'm thinking. So that obviously we don't, how do we get it, but why is it even something important, or is it, you know, why? And I came across I can see you're thinking.
Why? It's true, we always talk about harmony, but why do we need harmony? I suppose it's to have an easy life, in a way, not being stressed out, not being in a situation of maybe anger as well, for not letting go, right? We were talking about shame, guilt, and it comes to me again like peace, like just like being able to get up in the morning like happy, and going back to bed being happy because you've achieved what you wanted to achieve in the day, with the people you want to be with. So harmony is just and could be harmony as well with the nature, with important.
So one of the other quotes I came across, it said here, harmony is a necessary condition for development, for progress, for fulfillment, you were just saying, for overall happiness, and crucially for survival, right? For the individual and for the groups in which they belong. So absolutely, as you were saying there, you know, it starts with you, right? How can I get out? How can I be happy? How can I embrace a life that is harmonious to me, whatever that means, because it can mean different things to different people. That could mean, you know, working, it could mean parenting, it could mean engage, I don't know, all sorts of socializing. There's lots of things and combination of things that create this life of harmony that we're looking for. And I said that balance, it doesn't have to be 50-50, it could be percentages of each thing that come together in this beautiful soup, right? So it says it's necessary for development, progress, fulfillment, overall happiness, and survival, I love that, of the individual and the groups to which they belong to. And that's a really important one, because I thought about this, because there's very much looking inwards, and we do need to work on ourselves, and we want to be the best selves that we can be as well, and that's really fundamental. And that also begs the question, but why? So you can be happy, you can resolve some things, but also it's about our relationships then, isn't it? How then do we relate to others? And I think that's what does create harmony within, harmony as well within our environments and our communities, and as you said, that wider thing of our world as well, and it says here that harmony unites people in spite of their diversity.
True.
I wanted to push that up, because I think this is the thing. We don't all have to be the same. You don't have to be the same as your neighbor or your community group or those that you work with or your other coaches or any of that. You can be diverse and unique, and that enriches the life of harmony, right? We can understand, that racial harmony is something that people have fought wars and have conflicts over. Domestic harmony, in your intimate and personal relationships with your family members or your loved ones or spouses. Again, your society, people living together, but the impact on the environment as well. Living in harmony with that wider context as well. How do we really affect everything we do has a vibrational effect on those around us, inside, but also affects everything around us. Yeah.
Well, I feel like if you don't live in a harmony, people around you feel it.
Yeah.
And it has an effect, as you said, on relationships, on the way you relate to new people as well. People will be probably not be so attracted to you or to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you because they feel like there is something and you're not aligned and in harmony. So it is important to just try to let go all those stones we've got in our backpack, and it would be lighter anyway. So
Yeah, exactly.
and we would be happier for sure.
Absolutely. I think we'd communicate better, wouldn't we? Like you said, we'd be open, as you said, you'd be receptive as well, and people would think maybe they can approach you, and you maybe would let people know about your boundaries, and that would be even more solidifying, because that lets people know how far they can go and also allows them to implement boundaries for themselves. Remember us talking about that before. We can express ourselves and respectfully honor the opinions of others. We may not agree on everything, we may not think the same way and have the exact same viewpoint, but that's okay. And that, I think, you can build on individuality to create harmony. Again, that's the coming together, all these lovely pieces that
as a group, and the fact that we are different, it's so much more interesting because everybody can bring something to the table and just say, okay, well, that's the way I see it, and just make something fantastic. So that's the beauty of being different, and make something like a project or something in harmony, or where there is respect as well. There is one word which came to my mind when you were talking, is doing things with respect. Like, I agree to disagree, but with respect. So
yeah, exactly. And honoring that, it's really important, as you said, to definitely bring that up. I was thinking, as you said, about working together on projects, that you said when you're collaborating, if you're in a room with others, like you said, and you're all sharing ideas, if you're not talking over one another and you're allowing everyone to have their say, who knows what magic can happen and come out of that, I also, my thoughts always go to food, as you know. So I was also thinking about, bring and share, like everyone brings a dish, and then you have this beautiful table of all different things to try, some that you've tried before, your favorites, some that you may never have tried before, and that's a really lovely thing as well. And then I'm also, reminded about the fact that we live in different parts of the world, and that's a real richness that I enjoy.
totally.
That diversity. How do we learn about each other's cultures, our languages, our experiences of living in different parts of the world, and our upbringing, and even how that impacts how we interact with those around us as well, whether it be work or, in personal life as well.
And you were talking about food, and I know we do that a lot in Ecuador. We do like a potluck. That's what we call
Ah,
it. Everybody brings a dish, and even the harmony with the colors of the dishes. You know,
ooh,
it's not only just
colours.
like the food itself, the taste is just as well the color, and just like, oh, I like that color. I'm just going to taste that one.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah,
it's a surprise, good or bad, but yeah. So all the harmony as well of getting together, the food, the colors. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, and that respect, as you said, for even if you perhaps, do or don't like a particular dish, but just respectfully trying something new, what a wonderful thing, yeah, to
Exactly.
experience. Yeah. So I've got a question that I'm just going to throw out there. We don't have to answer it, but it's just something that people can consider. Actually, I've got a couple of questions. And it's in line with what we were just saying. So what would it look like to live in harmony? Like you said, if you were to literally think for yourself, what would even, right, scale it back from outside, scale back, let's look back at ourselves, because this is our starting point. What would it be like to live in harmony within our own selves, within our body, right? Within our physical body, within our mental chatter, within our emotions. There's lots of different ways that we can play or experience and explore what that harmony means. Can we find balance in that, and peace and love within and with ourselves? And then, share that with those around us. What would that look like? It's cool, like journaling prompts, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
starting. Yeah. And looking as well the other way around as what is stopping me from living in harmony.
Okay.
Looking at emotions, looking at relationships, looking in different areas of our life is just what's stopping us from having the life we
Yeah.
want and being like in harmony with ourselves, in harmony with the rest of the world. So,
Yeah. So you could look at your definition. It said look at
uh-huh,
what's given and then work back. Yeah.
exactly.
Very valuable tool. Good,
Mhm.
it's always good to question. One of my greatest spiritual teachers, one of her first steps of the awakening was ask quality questions. So it's always good, I think, to bring that up. So thank you. And then how might that impact your well-being? Because this is the thing, right? Again, why? What's the point? Like, why do we want to live in harmony? Why do we want to live well with people around us? Why do we not want to fight or make enemies? You know what I mean? Why do we want to come together like that? Probably because it will help us to feel more well and to experience well-being in more
Exactly.
truths, right?
And even for our health, you know.
Exactly.
Not being stressed out, not being angry, not having emotions like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just feeling as we are, like to be, and just feeling in peace and just yeah.
Yeah. And knowing what to do, as you said, and who to turn to and what resources to draw from when those things come up. Because as I said, we know that this too shall pass. Even those moments of joy and bliss and exuberance and excitement will wane and wave, and like life flows, so yeah. But overall, your well-being, what does that mean to you, and how do you lean into, as you said, being more of who you are, being even more of an expression of who you are, on all those levels. And then I got to thinking about, those underpinning things, and with spiritual wellness, like our values, our beliefs, and our purpose. And it came
Mm,
right back down to purpose, and it came back to the core. And I thought, it's like a little seed. Like, what's this little purpose in here, right? To live in harmony. I think we're all born. Well, actually, I was brought up Roman Catholic. I think I told you this. So very much born with the idea that everyone starts out without sin, and do you know what I mean? And then, I don't know, we experience things along our way. But yeah, that point of coming back to purpose, of finding what lights you up, what makes you feel fulfilled in life, what brings you joy and happiness, and how you might lean further into that and live in such a way, as you said, that is your overall experience. So you can weather the storms and the ups and downs, but that's your overall experience. Yeah. So
true.
Yeah, and I wondered if doing that, if we explore those options in and those elements of our spiritual, our physical, our mental, all of those areas of our lives, that we could then manifest, as you said, and radiate. You would then see what you want to experience, and you maybe experience even more of that. And that, I think, is for me what harmony is. It's not, as I said, this perfect life, this tick box, check, check, check. I mean, yeah, have your bucket list, do that. But yeah, not to have this notion that there's this all encapsulating perfection, or like, this end of the tunnel thing that you're yearning towards, or a destination. I think it is this journey, and the living in harmony is experiencing, gaining, releasing, learning, transforming. It's that constant beautiful flow, so that, yeah, you might see and experience what it is that you really truly want, and come to that point of purpose. Yeah, and hopefully that will guide you.
Yeah, because if you know what you are here for and what you want,
Yeah,
then you can start looking at your life and just say, well, to achieve what I want and to be in harmony, I need to get rid of that, and that.
yeah, and I need
And
to invite
include, exactly.
it.
Hey,
Yeah,
you see, we were connected.
yeah,
You!
yeah. This is the thing about the cup, right? So it's beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when you make space, be sure to feel that, because when you make space, literally, even energetically, right, on a whole another level, when you create space and you release, whether it be through ritual or ceremony, or physically cleaning and clearing space, something will always come and fill in. That's how energy works, right? So when you create this space, as you said, we were in sync, is really important to be intentional and to be purposeful about what do you put there in, what goes back in, what do you keep? What do you
Yeah,
want?
and sometimes you attract things you have never thought about
Yeah.
because the space is there, and suddenly, and well, we both know because we're a bit spiritual that the universe doesn't like empty spaces. So
Absolutely.
suddenly things will happen to fill
Yeah.
in that space,
Yeah.
and even things we haven't thought of, and
Right.
usually they're magical, and it's just like, oh, I never thought, or I didn't see it from that angle,
In
and
that way.
things happen. So
Yeah. Those serendipitous moments, as you said, those things that you suddenly, transform and manifest. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and it's nice to witness. And it's really interesting to be curious about that, because when you can observe yourself in that way that you're talking about there, that can make it a bit more fun and less arduous.
mhm.
It can be, we don't want to live in an arduous, hard, it doesn't have to be hard work. It could be,
No,
a bit
no.
fun as well.
Just finding the time and the silence where you can do like a introspection journey
Yeah.
on, as you were saying, on your purpose, and make sure that you get rid of what you don't need.
Yeah. And there's times in life, like, because I think when we talked about peace, that was one of the things that I was talking about, how you cultivate and create peace is one of the things is making time, isn't it? Or carving out some time. And we were talking about the fact that it could be a short amount of time, or it doesn't have to be like an hour. You don't have to meditate for 30 to 60 minutes. You have to go to this class or do this thing. But I know that you've experienced this as well as I have, that things go in cycles, and there may be a time when you will benefit from having some sessions with a coach, or working towards a specific goal with someone, alongside, and having that support, so that you can, as you said, shift out of one state of being to another. You can, move forward, right? And then that just allows more of that again, so that you can move along your journey, and embrace something else. And I said, because it's a cyclical thing, great practices like journaling and meditating and taking time for yourself for introspection and reflection, right? Really important. What about when life gets in the way and you're unable to do that for a period of time? That's okay as well, because that's a fact. It can happen.
Yeah.
A crisis, a health issue, something could come up that derails that regularity. Yeah. But having had it and knowing the benefit of it, you can choose to go back and to re-implement and reintroduce that if and when it suits you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether that be, as I said, using your toolbox and the skills that you already have, or whether that's working with someone else to support you to take on those new skills. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm complete. I mean, that's this. I was so looking forward to talking about this with you, and I know that we could go, everywhere with this, but that's really it. That's why I think this mantra has been with me for 20 plus years, even more. I think for as long as I can remember, I think there's been this resonance of those words and the meaning, and it's changed and evolved, and why it's still with me now today, because it's super important, and it is almost an anchor and something that I do and come back to. As I say, I'm not perfect, and I don't always do all the things that I want to do or should do or know are really great for me every day or every week. I fall out of love with the things that I know are wonderful as well. But yeah, there's that tethering and being able to come back and real deep inner knowing how beneficial these things can be, and how this mantra still permeates, still comes back again and again, and evolves and changes, but has so much meaning, and it helps me to go and work towards my purpose. So it's just interesting and wonderful to share this with you. I appreciate being able to talk about these elements.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you, you know that, Joe. So, and you can always come back and talk about another topic. And but I know that on the 27th of July, you've got something special. Come on, let us know.
Yeah, another wonderful opportunity. I'll be taking part in the Soulful Circle Summit again on the 27th. I cannot remember the time that it's here in the UK is, but I think it may be 3 p.m. in the UK. But yeah, it's going to be wonderful. Get to speak with yourself and 2 other speakers on the day. We've got 4 speakers all together, and we're going to be sharing different topics. For me, I'll be talking about a personal favorite. So it's not necessarily something that is, my professional life, or I actually do incorporate some card readings you'll see here with using the moon. But yeah, it's a personal passion of mine. I love the moon, love learning about the moon. And I'm going to talk a little bit about moon magic on the 27th.
Wow.
Yeah.
We had was it a new moon on the 13th of July? Was it? So
it was a full moon.
Full moon. So
yes.
The good thing as well is that on the 27th you're going to talk to us about moon, the magic of the moon, and on the 28th we'll have a new moon.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
both those times are really special times.
Exactly.
So you said before, I consider myself to be an eternal student. So I'm very much a student. I'm not an astrologer, and I haven't got a wealth of knowledge, but I've got a real passion and an interest and a desire to learn. And it's been fabulous and really fascinating to learn about how the full moons and the new moons can impact our lives, and the way in which we can utilize that to sprinkle some magic. So yeah, I'm going to really enjoy talking about that.
That's fantastic.
And you, Isabelle, you'll also be talking at this summit this time.
Yes, I will be talking about self-confidence. So, because self-confidence is vital for happiness too, harmony, and as well self-confidence to achieve our goals, and to get the life or create the life we aspire. So, yes, I will be sharing the screen with you.
Very valuable. That's a very valuable topic. Yeah, wonderful.
So it's going to be at 9 o'clock PST, Pacific time, and it's going to be 11 Central time. So I invite you all to register. Just check the Facebook, my Facebook page, or Joe's Facebook page. I invite you to contact Joe as well. So for a reading, a tarot reading, or to be coached by Joe. She's a fantastic spiritual life coach. So Joe, thank you ever so much. So come back anytime, but I mean, I'll see you on the 27th anyway, or even before. Well, I'm going on holidays, guys, so I'll see you in August. I'll post something on the Facebook page to inform you of the new guest and the date, because I'm not really sure when I'm coming back, really. So if you haven't seen the previous talk shows, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Phoenix Coaching and Training, and then you won't miss any if especially you click on that little bell to get the notifications. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Joe, again for coming today. And well, audience, have a lovely time, and I'll see you in August. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.